Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and thanks for joining us again on our long-term restoration journey of this 1967 Ford Mustang Coupe. In today's episode, we're tackling one of the most critical and most time-consuming sections on this car, replacing the complete rear panel and the inner wheelhouse behind it. These original components are severely rusted, in some areas literally falling apart. So this job is absolutely necessary to bring this Mustang back to life. We start by masking off the rear panel using painter's tape. This tape isn't just to protect the surface. It actually gives us a perfect visual guide to follow when cutting. By cutting along the tape, we ensure we leave an even amount of original metal all the way around, giving the new panel a clean and consistent edge to fit against. Once the line is set, we move on to cutting the panel along the tape. You'll notice sparks flying everywhere as we carefully follow the contour of the car. This is a slow and steady process. We want to avoid distorting the panel or putting unnecessary heat into the surrounding metal. With the outer skin removed, the real situation becomes visible, and it's not pretty. Behind the panel, we find heavy rust, flakes of metal, and even old mouse nests. Classic cars often hide their worst secrets behind closed panels, and this Mustang is no exception. It's honestly a relief that we're replacing all of this today, because leaving it would only cause structural problems later on. Next, we move on to the inner wheelhouse. Before we can remove it, we need to cut loose every single spot weld and mounting point that holds it to the car. We're doing this very carefully because we want to preserve the factory locations of these attachment points. Keeping the original geometry intact is extremely important if we want the new wheelhouse and eventually the quarter panel to align perfectly. There are also numerous welds on the inside of the trunk area, which we need to grind through as well. Everything is interconnected on these cars, so taking your time here prevents headaches later in the rebuild. Here, you can see us disconnecting the trunk hinge support. This bracket ties the inner structure to the rear of the car, so it needs to be completely free before we can remove the wheelhouse. And finally, once all welds and brackets are cut loose, the old wheelhouse can be removed. This is always a satisfying moment, seeing a big rotten chunk of sheet metal finally leave the car. With the old piece gone, the damage is even more obvious. The entire area is riddled with rust holes, scale, and weakened metal. We cut away every single section that shows corrosion and clean up what's still solid. Then we treat all remaining surfaces with rust converter, allowing it to penetrate into the metal. Once that has dried, we coat everything with a 2-component epoxy primer. This seals the metal and ensures that rust won't return. With the car now prepared, we can begin installing the brand new inner wheelhouse. We test fit it multiple times, adjusting and aligning it until the edges sit exactly where they're supposed to. Fitment is everything here. Once it's welded in, there's no easy way back. When the positioning is perfect, we clamp the wheelhouse securely in place. These clamps make sure the new panel sits flush against the original structure. Then we begin welding it to the factory mounting points. By reusing the original attachment locations, we maintain the authenticity and structural integrity of the Mustang. This ensures that the quarter panel, trunk panel, and all other surrounding parts will fit like the factory intended. While we're working in this area, we also replaced the trunk floor extension panel. This panel connects directly to the wheelhouse and is often rusted as well, just like in our case. We weld it in, clean up all welds, and coat everything with epoxy primer for maximum durability. After that, we make sure the new metal and all welded edges are thoroughly protected against future corrosion. This includes the seams, the overlaps, and all the newly exposed steel. Now we move on to the next major job, the rear panel replacement. First, we remove the remaining pieces that are still attached to the car. We take our time here. We want to keep the original Mustang body line untouched so the new panel will align perfectly with the trunk lid and taillight housings. Once the old pieces are gone, we position the new rear panel and tack weld it in place. These initial welds are only temporary and help us verify that the panel sits in the exact original location. When everything lines up correctly, we begin a special technique. We cut through both the new panel and the leftover original panel at the same time. This creates a perfectly even gap, the width of the cutting disc, giving us just enough room to perform a clean butt weld. This ensures the panel fits tightly without any overlap that might cause future rust or alignment issues. Now we can fully weld the rear panel. We weld in small sections, spread far apart, to avoid heat buildup. Too much heat can easily warp the sheet metal, causing dents or waves that are extremely difficult to fix later. So patience is key here. When the entire panel is welded, we grind all the seams until they're completely smooth, blending them into the surrounding metal as if the panel was never replaced. Finally, we coat the entire repaired area with primer, protecting the bare metal while the car waits for its final bodywork and paint. When a Mustang eventually goes to the paint shop, they'll remove this temporary layer and prepare the entire rear section professionally. And that brings us to the end of this part of the restoration. We've replaced the entire inner wheelhouse, the trunk floor extension, and the complete rear panel, all major structural pieces that are crucial for the integrity of the car. Thank you all so much for watching this episode. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the metalwork and want to follow the full restoration of our 67 Mustang Coupe, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next chapter in this build. We'll see you in the next video.